Will Dan Snyder be forced to sell the team? That seems to be the question going around. It's gaining more traction than I've ever seen it gain before. You've heard whispers of it over the past decade or so. But now it seems to be gaining some traction, and my belief is, not really. Maybe down the road, but not anytime soon. And even if he is, it's way too late. The damage has already been done. Some of you saw my rant videos about the commander's name and the Dan Snyder rant video. But this is... I'm no longer a fan of the team. Some of you probably already know that if you've seen the videos before. But I just can't do it with this guy at the head of the team. It's... And this is mainly a video to... I got a question in a comment the other day, and it said, if Dan Snyder was forced to sell the team, would you come back and be a fan? At this point, no. No, because, like I said before, the damage has already been done. This is a guy who took something that I loved and strangled it in front of my eyes and killed it. It's heartbreaking. I was actually making messing around with my video editor the other day and making a Washington Redskins tribute video, which was kind of like my saying goodbye to them. Because, in my view, the Washington Redskins is a defunct team. I treat it the same way that, the Houston Oilers are, which is a team that no longer exists. That's what it is to me. It's basically that. It's just something that no longer exists. It was fun while it lasted. It was much more fun for people who are older than me because they saw the good years. But that's what it is. It's just bad. It's heartbreaking. When I was making that tribute video the other day, or attempting to, I literally just started breaking out in tears. It was heartbreaking for me. But the other thing is, as far as the Washington Commanders name goes, and some people are saying, it's just a name, you got to stick with the team no matter what. No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. Because there were several names that a large group of fans wanted. And that Dan Snyder didn't go with any one of them. Not one. The one he went with was his personal choice, I believe. Because that's what all the signs point to. It was his personal choice to have the Commanders as the name. Because it was something that he liked. If you can find me one person who wanted that football team to be named the Washington Commanders, by all means show me. But I don't think you can do it. I don't think there's one person that wanted that name. I've never talked to anybody. I'm friends with a lot of Washington fans. Not one of them said, what I'd really like is the Washington Commanders. Not one of them. The ones that kept coming up were, the three main ones that I can think of were the Red Wolves, the Hogs, and the Red Tails. Those were the three big ones, especially the Red Wolves. Now, I know in that video that they put out, they said that they couldn't make the Red Wolves the name because of copyright issues. But to me, that's just, no, I'm not going to give the fans what they want. And I'll give you, some stuff as to why I think that. The Redskins, the Washington football team, now known as the Commanders, they're worth billions of dollars. Billions. If they wanted to, they could have paid, I guess, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Maybe there's other names with Wolves. Maybe there's other teams with Red Wolves. I don't know. But they could have paid those teams millions of dollars, not billions, millions of dollars to use that name and give the fans what they want. But they didn't do that. Okay? And I was actually looking on my YouTube feed. You know, if you type in Dan Snyder, the first thing that pops up is Dan Snyder buys most expensive house in DC area real estate history. And I'm looking at the house. That's a nice house. How much do you think that house cost? Do you think it cost more than what it would have cost them to get the Red Wolves name? I don't know. He could have done it. He could have done it, but no, he's out buying the most expensive house in DC real estate history. You know, choosing the Commander's name over Red Wolves, Hogs, Red Tails, it's just another slap in the face to the fans. Another slap in the face to the fans. And, you know, my decision was that's the last one I'm taking. I'm getting out of the way. I'm no longer being a fan of the team. As far as the Redskins name is concerned, personally, I don't think it's a racist name, but a lot of other people do. So the name change was, you know, I was a little bit upset with it at first. But, you know, move on and find an even cooler name. That's all I asked for. Didn't get what I asked for, and a lot of other people didn't too. You have all these names that the fans want. Dan Snyder doesn't pick them. Some of them he doesn't even consider. Which pretty much sums up his mentality towards the fans. He doesn't even consider them. He just wants to line his pockets, make as much money as he can, and hold as much power as he can. As far as, is he going to be forced to sell the team? I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, it seems like for years, even before all the recent stuff, it seems like the NFL has been protecting this guy. He's a made man. He's a protected man. If it was The Departed, he'd be a protected informant, as they say. You know, because they have, you know, Congress asked for, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of documents apparently that pertain to these sexual harassment allegations, and he had until Valentine's Day to turn them in, and he only turned in a portion of them. You know, that's the latest, but we'll see what comes out of that. But, you know, if you remember John Gruden, the firing of John Gruden and that whole controversy, most of that information came from emails that were taken from Bruce Allen, who was the former president of operations for Washington under Dan Snyder. So, I mean, I could be, if I'm wrong about any of this, please correct me. But it just seems like, you know, they have all these documents and they took a tiny fraction of it and went after John Gruden. And they have all this leftover stuff that pertains to Dan Snyder and everything else that goes on in that organization. So from the outside looking in, it seems like he's being not only protected, but highly protected. Which means, to me, there's not only stuff that would incriminate him, but would incriminate a very, very large amount of people. So it'll be interesting to see if that stuff gets out, but it's almost like I don't even want to keep up with that anymore. Because to me, the Washington Redskins are dead. For all the opposing fans, especially the NFC East fans that call them the Deadskins for all those years, you can actually say you were right. Because they are, in my eyes at least, they're a defunct team. They no longer exist, just like the Houston Oilers. But, and I saw a lot of people who are still fans of the Commanders, a lot of them, or people who, like me, decided not to root for the team anymore. Especially in the comments, a lot of people mentioned Doug Williams and who's the other guy? Jason Wright, who's the new president of the team. I actually kind of like Jason Wright. And, at least he's engaging in conversation with the fans. Vinny Serrato and Bruce Allen didn't give him the time of day. But, those guys are catching a lot of heat for being involved in these recent decisions. I guess you have a point there, but to me, it's the be all and end all is Dan Snyder. That's the problem. It always has been, and it's been the problem since he purchased the team in 1998. And I can no longer do it. I've already chosen a new team that I'm going to follow. I know I've told people that I'm going to do a jersey reveal. That's coming soon. I'm just waiting for the jersey. I already got one jersey in the mail, but I'm waiting for a second one that hasn't come. And so I'm waiting for that second one to come in to do that. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned because it's coming. Apologize about the wait. But yeah, I didn't want to do a rant video, even though that's what got me a lot of views in the beginning. But for me, it's just heartbreaking. It's basically my goodbye to the Washington Redskins and the other thing I want to mention before I wrap this up, John Riggins, my man. He's the one who, he said recently that watching that whole name reveal, it was like watching a funeral. I could be misquoting him, or I probably am because I'm just winging it here. But, he said he watched all the other former players that were on stage with Snyder and the rest of them, all hugging each other and wearing those jackets and saying it looked like they went to their own funeral, basically, which I tend to agree with. That's what it felt like a funeral for me, too, watching that stuff. But I can't imagine what it feels like for him because he's one of the most famous players they ever had. He's a legend. In conclusion, I'd like to say that this is my farewell to the Washington Redskins as a franchise. For everyone who is going to be a fan of the Washington Commanders, good luck to you. I really do wish you luck. So that's my goodbye. The only thing that I'm going to be carrying with me from this day forward is probably my hatred of the other teams in the NFC East. Somebody actually wrote a comment on my rant video. He said, why can't you pick the Cowboys? Well, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's the Cowboys. Come on. I'm going to still actively root against the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants, probably till the day I die. Because, one, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And I love the banter with those guys. It's out of love, really. I love bantering with fans from those teams. But, yeah, that's the only thing I'm going to be carrying over from this day forward. So, if you're going to continue to watch the team, seriously, good luck from a heartbroken fan of the now defunct Washington Redskins. So if you got this far, thank you for watching. Good luck to you, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.